Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine.
So the first question, which goes like in most religions,
Right.
there's a beginning story, a genesis
Yes,
of mankind.
that's it.
Does Buddhism have a beginning story of mankind? Is there any story of how mankind was formed?
That's it. I suppose that's what makes Buddhism in some ways much easier to approach. But in some ways, that's that easy part becomes the sort of more complicated to actually sort of grasp, I suppose.
Yeah.
But there isn't, I think, from every angle of Buddhism, it doesn't really talk about one particular beginning. That's the thing. Although it does talk about, from a relative point of view, that there will be always, we can find a beginning. That's the thing. So therefore, it's kind of based on what the ancient Indian sort of philosophies and religions talk about, actually.
All right.
About the kalpas, meaning a certain number of eons. That's basically what they have understood is that just as how we examine the atoms and whatnot, yes, how they function, how long they last, for example, a tree, how long they last, and so on. So according to it, every time there is a birth of long life, every time there's a birth of a universe, there's a certain number of kalpas or a certain number of eons. To that extent, it will sort of be sort of its the whole process, its birth, its living, and finally, of course, its death. And then again, once it dissolves into thin air, basically, that again. If the conditions come together, then if they form together again, the length will be more or less the same. So therefore, in that sense, we can have some sense of relative beginning, yes. But as an ultimate, it's very difficult to define because what the Buddhists say is that that it's the relative has, of course, as I said. Its own sort of perspective, but the what we call ultimate or absolute, it's that part of reality is sort of cannot be put into a box, put into a frame, put in a sort of a linear frame, and so therefore it's just what they say undefinable. You know? With words and concept and thoughts, you cannot describe it. So it's something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.